Look, my son did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And it turns out he did not do a single thing wrong, as everybody's investigated.
So,
These guys are amazing.
So you think that everything that happened was kosher?
You know there's not one single bit of evidence, not one little tiny bit, to suggest anything done was wrong. You know that. But you keep asking me these questions. It's okay. It's a last-ditch effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family. The vast majority of the intelligence people have come out and said there's no basis at all. This is classic Trump. We have 4 days left, and all of a sudden there's a laptop. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged. Say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. He's a grown man. He is the smartest man I know. I mean, in pure intellectual capacity.
How will that impact your presidency?
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
Yes, that's right, Joe Biden, Mr. Truth Teller. That's what we're always told. He is the guy who's constantly telling the truth and has never, ever once told a lie. So his son gets a sweetheart deal. And we're all supposed to sit back and go, oh, man, isn't the justice system great? There's not 2 tiers of justice. Well, actually, there's not. There's 3 tiers of justice. There is the Hunter Biden tier, the Donald Trump tier, and then, of course, there is the tier that the rest of us get to live in, apparently. But let's bring Hunter Biden's attorney on, essentially to take a weird victory lap. And Katy Tur at MSNBC decides she's going to ask the really, really hard questions. Like, was it fair? Is this the end? Let's get to it.
Is this the end of it?
My understanding is that we're done.
The statement from the prosecutor's office, from Weiss's office, said the investigation is ongoing. This is the statement announcing that criminal charges have been filed. It's obviously not the statement about the plea agreement. Are you led to believe that that investigation is ongoing, will be dropped once this plea deal is made official?
Will they just drop everything that your client has been involved in because, you know, he pled guilty to what is essentially a parking ticket, as Donald Trump said? Donald Trump's right about that. That's exactly how it appears. It surely does not look like he's being held accountable like everyone else would be. I mean, you may think it seems that way, but, you know, a reporter asking, is this the end? Holy cow.
I'm not led to believe anything. That's Mr. Weiss's statement. I think there's going to be a court proceeding. I think there are going to be agreements that are going to come out about the court proceeding. And I think everyone will see what happens once that occurs.
Would you?
I think they know damn well exactly what's going on here. And I think they know exactly what's going to happen with this. They know that they're going to get a sweetheart deal. They know they've already received a sweetheart deal. And that sweetheart deal is just going to continue. And they already asked, you know, is this the end? Because that's the important part of this. Is this the end? Or is poor Hunter going to have to go through even more of this? Because they're asking things like, is it fair? And you ask that question in such a way that you wonder to yourself, do they even know what fairness is? Because it's not this.
Do you think Hunter Biden was treated fairly?
That's a really complicated question. This is a resolution that we took under all the circumstances.
Why is it so complicated?
I think that, you know, Mr. Biden had a period in his life that was troubled, where, you know, it's very clear he didn't timely pay the taxes he was supposed to pay at the time. He subsequently has paid them, but he didn't timely pay them. I think it's a very hard question whether I would have been prosecuted for that or not. And I think I could have been, but I think that's a hard question, and it's one I can't answer.
You can't answer whether you'd be prosecuted for over $1 million in tax fraud? The answer is yes. Yes, you would have been.
Do you think that because his name is Hunter Biden, because he has been the focus of so much of the Republican line of attack against the current president, that maybe this investigation was a little bit bigger and broader and more intensive than it would have been if this was Chris Clark, as you said?
It's unbelievable that they're trying to make the argument that maybe they went harder at Hunter Biden because his dad's the president. In no world did that happen.
Facing these sort of allegations?
I mean, I spent many years interfacing with the prosecutors who brought this investigation, and I think they really tried to be fair. I think that they tried to be thorough, tried to look into everything possible.
you're going to find out that that's a lie. You're going to find out that that's a lie because no, they weren't thorough. No, they didn't go into everything possible. And I don't know how to put this, but everyone knows that. Not a single person thinks that they did everything that was fair and everything that's possible and that they were all over this and they were doing this in the same way they do it to anybody else. Nobody. Literally nobody believes that. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't be having a dumb conversation right now. If they treated this just like they treat everything else, we would not be having a dumb conversation like this right now. It would not be happening. It would not be happening. It wouldn't be a bunch of questions about whether it's fair or any of those other things. And we surely would not be having a question about whether or not they looked at the laptop, because that's what's coming next.
Do you have any idea if Hunter Biden's laptop had anything to do with this investigation? Was it used?
I don't. No, I don't. I mean,
were you ever asked about it?
I can't recall being asked.
It's unbelievable. It was a thorough investigation. Were you ever asked about the laptop? No.
Asked about it, to be honest with you. But there's nothing about the situation that's been filed that has a thing to do with the laptop.
Why not?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the prosecutors.
I wouldn't necessarily argue that you got to put it on the prosecutors in this particular case, because it is pretty clear the reason that they didn't go into that is because they know there's an issue there. And there's reports out today that this is still ongoing, but this is a guy's lawyer talking about how they didn't even ask him about the laptop and any other criminality that he was involved in before they agreed to a deal. So this guy was treated more than fair. He was treated great.
The Republicans will say the laptop has tons of proof that there was that Hunter Biden participated in corruption, that there's financial proof that President Biden and Hunter Biden were connected in the gains that were made overseas by Hunter Biden. Have you ever seen any proof of that?
Why don't you ask him this question? Who's the big guy? That would have been the question. Who's the big guy? That's the question you ask in this situation. And obviously, the laptop does come into play because how Hunter Biden got that money is on that laptop. But we're still playing this game where Republicans say, and she's basically saying, Republicans are wrong, right?
No, I know. I mean, again, I've seen people wave various random emails around. I've never seen it. Obviously, whatever that stuff has been available to everyone in the United States for many years. Sadly, I mean, I don't know how you'd feel about if everyone was disseminating the contents of your stolen phone. I wouldn't be happy about it, but everybody's had it. Maybe you would. I don't know. That would be your choice.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anybody make an actual persuasive case that something was done. And you asked whether or not the subject of the laptop was part of the investigation. It's been out there, and we don't have any proof of it that there was any kind of violation.
Must be nice in this situation to be able to just say, hey, look, the laptop's been out there. It's old news. I mean, it was just lied about for eons and told that it's no big deal. But now, it's been out there for a while. Stop worrying about the laptop. Jeez, guys, we've already handled that whole thing, right? They wanted to let you know that has already been dealt with. And the idea that you need to keep talking about it is just so dishonest. And wow, why would you even be having this conversation? It just seems so pointless. But you don't even look at the laptop. And they don't even ask the question about where the money came from. None of that stuff comes up. And Katy Tur here, oh, that's stolen laptop. It wasn't stolen. It was not stolen for the 100th time. It wasn't stolen. He left it somewhere, and it got found. That's what happened. The media is now using this to immunize Biden and the big guy without even asking who the big guy is. Nobody wants to ask who the big guy is. Nobody thinks that question is worth a damn here. It's unbelievable. But we do get this hard-hitting question. What's Hunter Biden going to do now?
The prosecutors are not asking for jail time. Are you concerned that the judge here might freelance?
I think, look, there are documents that haven't been publicly released yet. I think people have reported what the prosecutors are asking for. I think you have to wait till the court proceeding happens to know. But, I think the judge is going to do what's fair. And I think what's fair is, my client gets on with his life.
God, That poor guy. That poor drug addict, sex trafficking guy. He just can't get a fair shake here anymore. All he did was commit a bunch of crimes and corruption. And you got people like Republicans that want to hold him accountable. That poor, poor guy. That poor Hunter Biden. Katy Tur is trying her best to defend him, and his attorney's out there making the argument that, well, they didn't even look into the laptop. She then makes the argument that the laptop was stolen, which it wasn't. And then they together allege that everyone's seen everything on here, and there's nothing new there. This is all a lie, and every single person involved in this story knows it, but it just goes on and on and on. And hopefully one day Hunter Biden has to deal with it. But when he does, it won't be because the American media did their job. It will be because Republicans pushed and pushed and pushed, and finally the American people had enough.